Hey, everybody, it's Dave here. We are approaching the 2-minute warning, 2 minute, 20 seconds left. The Minnesota Vikings lead 29-28. The Detroit Lions have the ball at this present time, and the Minnesota Vikings have to stop them. It is 2nd and 6, 2 minutes and 5 seconds, counting down. While we're going to hit the 2-minute warning, we just hit the 2-minute warning. Time for the roll-in. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOLs, live at the 2-minute warning. Next. Hey there, Ron. How you doing? Welcome to the show, and also welcome, Sweet Mary. What a game we've had so far. The Vikings are up, like I said, 29-28. 2 minutes left, but the Lions have the ball with the most prolific offense in the league. Hopefully, our defense will stop them one more time. Hey, Steve, how you doing? Let's go defense. Absolutely. That's what we all need to be wishing on right now. If we were at the stadium, we needed to be loud. Super duper duper loud. But what a game so far. Minnesota went out 10-0 in the first quarter and then went behind when Detroit scored 21 points in the second. But they have steadily climbed their way back and took the lead on a Josh Metellus forced fumble that Ivan Pace picked up and ran into the end zone to put us up to where we're at right now at 29-28. And as soon as these commercials are over and we get gameplay, let's see how this goes. All right. ESPN is showing the Vikings with a 58.0% win probability as of now. We've got to get the stop. Please, Odin, please. Let's go defense. So far, it's been a heck of a game. I got to give it to Jared Goff. He's thrown the ball well. Very few mistakes on his part. Sam Darnold has been okay, and luckily woke up in the second half. Or is that KOC in his play calling by widening people out? That's a question. We'll have to find out. All right, here we go with the game. The clock is started, or the whistle's blown. Goff under center. Pitches back. Oh, no. Come on, stop him. And Gibbs runs for a first down. Not good. But the clock is still ticking, 1:45 and counting, trying to get in field goal range. We don't want them in field goal range. Jake Bates is warming up on the sideline. Master Bates is their field goal kicker. It's a rookie, if I can remember correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll find out. All right, snap. Goff back to pass. Throws a screen out to Gibbs again. And he gets another first down. Come on, defense. Let's go. This is crazy. He goes out of bounds, stopping the clock at 1:18. Detroit, 1st and 10. Let's see how this works out. They're inside Vikings territory already, which is not good at all. Hopefully, they will break out of that. Hopefully, we get a sack or a turnover, please. All right, we have 6 on the line. Goff drops back. There should have been a flag on the play. It wasn't. He connects to Amon-Ra St. Brown for another first down. Damn. Oh, boy. All right. Clock stopped. Minute 4. They are inside field goal range at this point. Amon-Ra stopped at about the 21. Oh. No. And win probability just went up 75.3% for the Lions. Still got to make the kick or the score. Anything can happen. That's right. Anything can happen. All right. 1st and 10, minute 7 on the clock. Defense is getting ready. Showing Van Ginkel. Minnesota has 2 timeouts left. Same with Detroit. Detroit's huddled up, calling the play, and we will see what happens. Dressing the line, Goff under center, pointing to the left, calling, drops back, hands off to Gibbs, gets tackled for maybe -1. Yes. Well, that helps a little bit. George, done cooked, ha. Well, I don't know about that, but we'll find out. There's been worse. By far, there's been worse. We're going to find out. And they're showing the highlights of the Detroit Lions offense so far today. All right. Let's get through this mini commercial BS so we can talk some more football. Can we please? We shall find out. So far, here we go. Coming to the line of scrimmage, taking a knee. Okay, that's one way to do it. They're going to play for the field goal. Hey, Chevy. Welcome to the show. It's a minute 1 left, 3rd and 13. Judging by this, yes, open-minded, it has been a great game. They're setting up for a Bates field goal attempt. Hopefully he misses it. But they've got another down to go before it's 4th down. I'm assuming they're going to do the kneel down thing again. Minnesota took its last time out. George, I liked the way he opened it up in the second half, spread out the receivers a little bit more. He was getting a little bit too bunched up in the first half. To answer your question, and they were bringing people in the box that way, and it was causing problems. Bunch them up. Put JJ in motion more. And there we go. 4th down. And 14. And here comes Bates to attempt the field goal. They're going to run the clock down to as much time as possible, which should be about 20 seconds-ish, somewhere in there. My math's off a little bit. They'll probably run it down, may even take the penalty, but they'll call timeout or whatever. Yes, here we go, 18 seconds. Yep, delay a game, unless they called the timeout. Looks like they called the timeout. Here comes Bates. Yes, let's hope it's a miss. Let's hope he misses it. Or we block it, either way. Oh, yes. This is driving me crazy. Okay, here we go. Mary says, here we go. I should be dead on because I've got it free over the air. No delay. And they keep fiddle-farting around. All right, lined up for the kick. Ball snap, placed, and it is unfortunately good. Shit. Crap. Detroit goes up 31-29, 15 seconds left. Unless we get a miracle. I think Detroit's going to win this one, but boy, was it close. What a game. What a game. Ay. Damn it. And that sort of knuckleballed through. Shoot, as they would say. I was grown up, but hey, that's what it is. That's life being a Vikings fan. That's why this team makes me drink. But open-minded and going toe-to-toe with a really good football team, no shame in that. No, it isn't. And it was close. Blew the over-under. It was not bad at all. But it would have been better if we won. But we have 15 seconds left. Let's see what happens. Maybe we can get a kickoff return. If Bates is smart to blast it through the end zone. But we'll see. And he boots it. And it sails in through the end zone. It's touched back. Vikings ball at the 30. Yes, Demon Dice, it was a very good game. Had you worried, I bet. It was actually a very, very good game. Too close for comfort on both sides. We shall see. All right. Minnesota has no timeouts. Detroit has one. Darnold's lining up. We got to get in the field goal range. We have 15 seconds to do it. Darnold's in shotgun. Snaps the ball. No pressure whatsoever. Throws underneath to Naylor. Naylor to the 50. We got to down the ball to stop the clock. There we go. Down it stopped. And 0 time. Fuck. I would have loved to have seen that field goal attempt. Shoot. Well, folks, the Vikings. Ooh, there's a flag on the play. Hold on. Hold your horses, as I used to say. What's the flag? Hopefully it's on Detroit, and it puts us even closer and gives us a play. We shall find out. No, it was on us or something because Detroit's acting like they won. Darn it. No, maybe not. He's calling them all back to the sideline. One more play. All right. I can't lip read and I don't have the sound on. It was on the Vikings? One play, illegal formation, Christian Darrisaw. Okay, where's the ball? Is it back on the 30 or what? They're showing a replay. I don't see any illegal formation. You're crazy. Oh, that was on the snap. So the ball's placed at the 45, our 45. That'd make a 55, 62-yard attempt if they tried it, but they're not attempting it. Oh, no. One play for the money. 3 out, ride white. Ball of Darnold in shotgun, under pressure, gets sacked. Game over. I wish they would have tried the field goal, even if it came up short or missed. That was crazy. I don't know about that, Derek, but that would have been, what, 55, 65? No, that would have been 72-yarder attempt. That's probably out of his range, but I still would have liked to see it. Scottish Bear and Jammy Cheeseheads. I haven't looked. Is that game final? Yes, it's final. The heck with them, Bubby. The heck with them. Packers won 24-22 over Houston. You too, Mary. You too. All right. While we wait on our other contributors to join, let's go over some of the box scores. Sam Darnold was 22 for 27 on the day, 259 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception, took 4 sacks for 15, and a passer rating of 103.5. Not bad for Sammy. Jared Goff, on the other hand, was 22 for 25, 280 yards, 11.2 average, 2 touchdowns, took 4 sacks for 33, and then 140.0 average. It is what it is. Aaron Jones had a decent day. He had 14 carries for 93 yards, a 6.6 yard average with 1 touchdown. Not bad for Aaron Jones, and I think that hammy is in good shape. Open-minded, let's bring it in for a group of Vikes fans. This is when we need each other the most. Hey, we're still 5-1. And on second place in the NFC. So things are still looking great for us. Nothing to be ashamed of. We'll get them in Detroit in week 18. Sam Darnold also had 4 carries for 39 on scrambles. At least we didn't get boat race like the Cowgirls. Yes, that is correct. Steve, you are 100% correct. We had that game. Darnold failed, 2-point conversion, a horrible pass on 3rd down on the last drive. Well, it is what it is. Run, pass, punt with 1-point lead is playing scared. Sick of how this offense turns the lead. Okay. Kalanji, KOC play calling. Well, it didn't work good there on that last drive prior to the 15-second one. Freddie, Lions are acting like they won the Super Bowl. Well, who knows? Maybe they did. Hey, we don't know. Game's on Darnold. Leaky defense, man. Leaky defense. The defense did go to sleep at one point in time. But that is, I shouldn't say go to sleep. They weren't effective. Time to bring in, not Tyler, but Darren. As soon as I get his camera up, there's Darren. Hey, buddy, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Could be a little better, but hell of a game.
Yes, it is, unfortunately. I am going to switch to 3 here and make... What was your opinion, Darren?
Yeah, I was talking yesterday on our show about how the defense that made that 1 or 2 stops that maybe that extra would be the big difference, and Detroit got those today. Held us to a couple of field goals, and made that stop late in the 4th quarter when we're trying to run the clock out a little bit unfortunate. I don't know on that route whether Addison was supposed to be in the same area as Jefferson, but it looked like him being there kind of forced Darnold to throw it higher than maybe he would have liked, or maybe the throw was supposed to go to Addison and he overthrew him. But you didn't want to see Detroit get the ball back there, because we'd stopped them twice, and they got a hell of an offense, and they're hard to keep down, as we saw that today, and they got it done at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. And Blood Eagle Smeagol says 5-1 is a better start than I ever expected, and that is true.
100%.
Too evil. Had to lose sometime. Yep. Big Ray on Dad, welcome to the show.
Didn't have to, but the chances were pretty good that we would. And yeah, like if what was everybody saying at the start of the season, right? Like the gauntlet that we were going through the first 6 games. Hey, if they could just be like 3-3 or maybe even 2-4, then we get the easy part of our schedule and we can turn the season around. Well, you're 5-1. I don't think anybody thought that they were going to be 5-1. And it's not like I hate losing to the Lions and I hate losing 4 times in a row. That hasn't happened in a long, long time. But now you got to regroup, right? You keep your losing streaks to 1 game and build on it. And you got a short week. Los Angeles coming up. Cooper Kupp probably will be back next week, which is going to help them a little bit. And you got to come out and put the boots to the Rams. Yeah. You got to come out and put the boots to the Rams and get to 6-1 and start this thing going again.
Mm-hmm. Jonas, how's things over in Germany?
Oh, yeah, I'm a bit disappointed right now because I think this was not as close as it looked at the end, because after the first quarter, I think the Lions were clearly the better team today, as much as I dislike to say it. But I think if we just look at this game after the first quarter, it was pretty lopsided, especially in the second quarter. Sure. But yeah, we need more out of this offense. Feels weird to say this when this is the outcome, but I think I'm putting more blame on the offense than on the defense today.
You agree, Darren?
I disagree that it seemed lopsided. It certainly was in the second quarter, but third quarter the Lions did what? A little bit. Fourth quarter they didn't really do anything until the last drive. So I disagree. It was a close game, 31-29, but the Lions are a really good team, might be the best team in the NFL. I think today's game shows that the Vikings are also a very good team, and I don't think we should lose sight of that, even though they lost today and had a 10-0 lead and let it get away. But yeah, I think the offense, again, in some of the settling for field goals at the end, that just kind of shows, again, Detroit has the best offense in the NFL, I think. And their defense is a hell of a lot better than it was even last year, even without Hutchinson. And our offense is solid. It's okay, but it's not elite. So right. that was the difference, right? Like our offense just couldn't quite do enough against a really good defense, and Detroit's offense can do a lot against even the best defense in the NFL, or one of the best in the NFL.
Well,
and you need some things to go right. Not turn the ball over and win the turnover battle. Today we came out even on that, and so and you lose by 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
And if you make the 2-point conversion, it's a tie game going into overtime right now. And Dave, you're still on air here with nobody else.
Yeah, calling it. Yes, that's true. I just saw that Seahawks soundly defeated the Falcons.
I didn't see what the Packers were up by 2.
They won
late?
by 2.
Okay,
unfortunately. Yeah. But it is what it is.
Yeah, a couple of things that the Vikings had to do in this game was they had to stop Montgomery, Gibbs, and St. Brown, and they did one of those 3 things. Right. And so, and there's a lot of other things that go into it. I mean, Detroit's offensive line does a great job blocking. The wide receivers do a good job of that as well. Flores said he was going to fight fire with fire, and I think for the most part he did that. It worked sometimes. It didn't work a lot of other times.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about Darnold, Dave. Like I was saying it in our chat, like the pocket was muddy at times, particularly on that last couple of drives, but it seemed like he was, after that interception, that he was holding on the ball quite a bit. Didn't seem to like maybe he would in other games, and I don't know whether there just wasn't anybody open. You'll have to see the all 22, or he was just a little bit hesitant and thinking, I can't turn the ball over a second time in a game like this because Detroit's going to take it and take it the other way and get a touchdown.
Yep. Hey, Tyler Fornes of the Real Forno Show has just joined us. Tyler, how you doing?
One hell of a game, boys. One hell of a game. I think one of the big questions I had coming in was how this team would handle Ben Johnson's offense, because last year they spammed in breakers and they were just gashing us. But the small modifications that Flores have made to the defense mitigated that quite a bit, even though when you run a lot of Tampa 2, those in breakers, dagger concepts, it's still a weakness. Well, they spammed that quite a bit today by attacking the seam about 15 yards up the field. And it was very successful. And one of the tough parts is the Vikings were getting substantial pressure. PFF has now in-game data that they have where they actually look at the plays in real time, and then they give out pressure numbers and obviously they double check it later. But the Vikings had 16 pressures on Jared Goff per PFF. They got 4 sacks, but it was the ones that they didn't come close to really getting home on, or the ones that they missed, like the Grenard strip sack. I think those are one of the big differences in the game today, because if you get just a little bit more pressure or a little bit more effective pressure, because not all pressures are created equal, and really impact Goff and force him to get off his spot and force him to make more inaccurate throws and not allow him to step up in the pocket and fire at 15 yards down the field like he did a few times in this game. One of the big problems with this Vikings defense is if you have a really good offensive line, it's a lot easier to beat, because the way it's structured is get quick pressure, force the quarterback to make really quick decisions, and not allow really anything to be taken advantage of deep, because we're gonna force everything to stay in front of us with our pressure packages. Well, they were able to gash us in multiple ways. Ben Johnson had a lot of great counters to the zero looks that the Vikings had. Those 2 running plays by Jahmyr Gibbs for touchdowns, phenomenal play calls for what the Vikings had. Phenomenal. Just great. It kind of sucks to say, but that toss play where Metellus is crashing in and on a run blitz, there's a clear path because Penei Sewell climbs to the second level, steals off Grugier Hill, easy score. The touchdown at the end of the first half where they just ran a dive play. There's nobody in the middle. All they have to do is get the defensive lineman, and that's easy money. So they had a great game plan to counter the Vikings defense. They executed it pretty well, and the Vikings still found a way to come back in this game. And I think that's going to be a big storyline, is we wanted to see the Vikings in adverse situations. How are they going to deal with adversity? How are they going to deal with being down? And I think they handled it pretty well. It wasn't perfect. I would have liked to have seen them get the 2-point conversion. I absolutely hated the third down call. There's very few things I hate more in football than sprint right option. You're taking away more than half of the field for your quarterback, and you're asking him, hey, you're making things easier for the defense. All you have to do is cover this little space. That's it. It's letting the defense play on easy mode. I hate that. And I think that was if you hit that play, game script completely changes. But that play call I thought stunk. I thought, throwing the ball is the right move here, because you want to just get the first down. You get the first down, you keep, taking time off the clock. Mm-hmm. But the play call I thought was atrocious. I hated it. But I hate all sprint right option play calls. The only one that's ever been good was Joe Montana in the 1981 NFC Championship game to Dwight Clark. That's it. I'm sure there have been more other good ones, but I just hate the play call. It's hard to be from a big picture perspective, it's hard to be mad about this loss. I think there were a lot of really good things. You lost to one of the top 3 or 4 teams in football in a very close game. You'd love to have the win, and we'd all prefer to have the win. But how this kind of came around, what we saw from this Vikings team, it's really difficult to be truly upset, I guess is the right way to frame it. They played well. They just lost, and move on to Thursday.
No. And Goff is one of the best, if not the best, quarterback right now playing in the NFL. He is so accurate and is getting it done. Jonas, your opinion?
The thing is, at some point, this defense is gonna get beat. It's the way it's structured, it's like Tyler said, at some point they are going to get beat. There is no way around that. And good teams will get that. And the Lions got that today, and the Vikings still got some punches in on defense. And that's all you can ask for against a good offense. You won't completely shut them out. This just won't happen. If you want to hang with those teams, and the Vikings did kind of hang with them, but if you want to beat them, especially late in the season and in the playoffs, you got to be more consistent on offense. And I think we saw that on the last during the last few games. They got away with it because they had big leads early on. Guess what? This time they faced a very good offense, and they had a lead early on, but not that big, and therefore, at some point you have to be more consistent, and you on offense it can take until they have to get going. And the Vikings at this point, they're really explosive on offense, and that's good, and that's probably the best part of Sam Darnold's game. But it's kind of similar to 2 years ago. They kind of need a floor that they can rely on. And that's what they currently just don't have. Either they are very explosive or they are really bad and do really dumb stuff, especially Sam Darnold. And the Vikings will need to establish that floor. Of course, having TJ Hawkinson should help that. But we also need Sam Darnold to just be more consistent, to just make less mistakes. Like, again, he threw an interception again, and it was an interception that he just cannot throw, and he just has to get this out of his game if the Vikings want to be serious in January.
And, that interception throw, Jonas, that was something that we talked about last week, Dave, where he needs to play just a tiny bit more like Kirk Cousins, a tiny bit more conservative, not completely abandon throwing it down the field. Continue to do that. But he locked on to Addison quickly. If he would have been like, you know what, I see Branch, high safety there. And, he has the ability to crash as kind of like the robber. You have Aaron Jones on the other side of the field. And one of the tough parts with that one is, where is he at in the progression? Is he even in the progression, or is he just kind of leaked out where, hey, you got to go through 3 other guys in order to get all the way over there? But if he sees like, hey, he's crossing, but you have that robber there, you know what? Maybe let's not throw that. Let's kind of start to progress and go here, here, here. Darnold loves that first read. Most quarterbacks do, but you have to be willing to take layups. You have to be willing to do a lot of those things. Now, I thought Darnold, outside of that play, pretty solid. I don't think you can call him great. I honestly don't think you can call him bad. I think he was a solid quarterback. But if you, like Jonas said, if you want to take that next step, he's got to be just a little bit more than solid. He's got to be good, and he's got to be great. And especially when the defense allowed a lot of points today. So those little details can come back to bite you in the butt at the end of a game, but they can also help propel you to victory. And I think we'll hopefully see more of that from Darnold moving forward.
And it's like you said, he, especially in the last few games, I thought he locked into his first read a lot. And he was slower than I think in the first few weeks. In the first few weeks, he actually had a solid speed in his progressions. But I think in the last few games, he got a lot slower. He is, I think, currently one of the 3 or 4 starting QBs with a time to throw over 3 seconds. And he's just going to get this quick game. And it can't just be designed one hit quick game. He has to be able to get off his first read quicker and find his other guys. And right now, it just seems like he's on his first read, locks on it, and then it's either sack, scramble, or check down. Like there isn't a second, third read on it. He just doesn't go to that.
Yeah. Well,
compared to the Jets game, this was a better outing by Darnold by far, a bounce back game. And guys, we all know when coming into the year that Darnold is not a perfect quarterback by any stretch, but he's got nice touch on those screen passes to the running backs. He pushes the ball deep. Has got that throw to Addison. You might say was a little underthrown, but man, he threw that fucking thing like 80 yards. So yeah, he's got some faults, and you hope that he can smooth some of those out. Maybe that's not going to happen, but I think the Sam Darnold you got today was against most teams is going to get you a win, I think, because the Vikings defense isn't going to face the number one offense in the NFL and give up 31 points. They just aren't. But it wasn't his best game. But I think that he's a quarterback who's not perfect, who's got his faults. He's always had them. I don't think any of us thought he was going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback this year, even though the start of the year, the MVP talk. So I think we just have to be realistic about the kind of quarterback that Sam Darnold is, and hope that he has make some incremental improvements in some of the things Jonas and Tyler have talked about in decision making and taking a profit sometimes, instead of just trying to go for broke on every other play. And yeah, maybe I don't know if he's always looking at the first read and just gunning it, but I don't know enough about football to make that call. But Sam Darnold he's who we got. We ain't putting in Nick Mullins. Got to ride with him.
Yep.
Darren, you would know enough about football if you were here regularly. I just got to say that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you're better, more consistent here in the next few months.
I like to hear that. I want to address something that Brandon said in the chat, Dave, saying the play calling was trash and Minnesota had the ball up one late. Vikings needed to stay aggressive when there was 4 minutes left. I don't really have an issue with the play calling. Like, you get 5 yards on first down, and then you go back to the running game, which is something that Kevin O'Connell's historically struggled with as the Minnesota Vikings play caller. He did not abandon the run, and I think that was a big factor in why the Vikings were able to come back in this game. I think running the ball there on 2nd and 5 is completely fine. You want to keep running the clock, but you also got a successful run play, because remember, on first down, the successful play, when in terms of success rate, is getting 5 yards or more. On 2nd down, you want to be within 3 yards of a first down, whether that means you get a first down or it's 3rd and 3. So running the ball a second time right after you got 5 yards, I think is completely fine. To me, it's the play call on 3rd down where you completely eliminated 2/3 of the field. Like, to me, that was the biggest one where, like, it's a head scratcher. Now, it almost worked, but Darnold rifled it too high for Jefferson. He just wasn't able to bring it in. I just don't like when you eliminate 2/3 of the field for your team when you have these great separators at wide receiver. Let them work. Like, if you just make it a levels concept with 1/3 of the field, like, there's no throwback option. And if you do a throwback option, that's how you get Brett Favre against the New Orleans Saints. So I really don't have an issue with that.
I don't recall them doing that at all this year besides that play, Tyler. And you kind of wonder what KLC's thought process was in doing that at that time of the game. Is he just trying to make things really simple for Darnold, or because he hasn't had an issue with him dropping back and giving him the whole field to look at all year on every pass play that they've had? So yeah, a little bit of a head scratcher there for sure.
I wonder if O'Connell saw something in how the second level of that defense was playing coverage, and they wanted to put maybe somebody like Brian Branch in I'll have to look at the all-22 when it comes out, but in conflict, where sometimes when you play like a lot of cover 2, you get that shallow corner defender in the flat, and then they have to make sure that they're controlling the shallow player, but then they also have to kind of midpoint it and be deep enough in order to play the deeper receiver, which is why you see a lot of smash concepts with a hitch on the outside and a corner right behind it to put that defender in conflict. I'm wondering if he saw something that made him want to call that play, because on a flood concept like that, you're going to have a shallow receiver, which I believe was Jalen Naylor, and then you're going to have the deeper receiver, which is Justin Jefferson. Jefferson was open, but he missed it. And I think that might have been why he called the play. I just hate when you take out 2/3 of the field on a critical 3rd down. I don't like it. I'm never going to like it. If it worked, I still wouldn't like it, but I'm glad it worked. I hate sprint right options so much. Drives me bonkers.
It seems like traditionally you'd use that. You'd run that kind of play on a rookie who's inexperienced, and you're trying to make things easier for him and cut down some of the noise. Well, Darnold's in year 7, so
yeah,
not a rookie.
Yeah, I think one of the things, I don't think he trusted the Vikings offensive line and Darnold as a combination at that point. He just definitely wanted to get this out. And to be fair, if Darnold doesn't miss Jefferson there, it does work. Jefferson was open. So you gotta hit that. I get what you're saying. I didn't like the play call as well, but it was there, to be honest. So again, getting back to the execution and how Sam Darnold just isn't able to do it consistently. Yes, he has his plays. He always had during the season, and overall he played well. But at this point, in this situation, he just got to hit it. And I don't care if Addison is in that throwing lane. That's a throw as an NFL QB. You just got to hit, and he didn't.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. You got to hit that throw. I don't like that he was put in the situation to make that throw. And I think all those things are true.
Yeah, but Rab, yeah, it was a great game. And yes, I would say the Lions are probably the best team in the league right now. But you beat easy teams. This is the first team you won that had a plus 500 record. We've beaten 2. Let's see how you go the rest of the season.
I still don't understand why no team in the NFL would take Ben Johnson out of this division. I don't get how they were able after this season to maintain both coordinators, especially after seeing the Vikings lose every halfway decent offensive coordinator during the Zimmer era. After one decent season, like immediately he was gone.
So I will say this, Ben Johnson during the coaching search was incredibly selective about where he could go. And he was very exorbitant in his wants as far as contractually and how he was going to, operate the franchise, because as the head coach, like, you have so much control. So he was very, very particular. He came close to the Commanders gig, but eventually ended up saying no. And I think being selective is really smart by him, because you don't want to go to a dumpster fire. You want to go to a solid landing spot. You want to go to a team structurally like the Vikings. The Vikings have great infrastructure. And I think that being that he's selective and not just like, hey, I want a head coaching job. Like, Pat Shurmur probably realized that I'm probably never getting another head coaching opportunity because I did get fired after 2 years with the Browns. So he's like, okay, Giants, they have relatively stable ownership. Let's go. But Johnson, I think he's 39 or 40 years old. He's got time. And I think it's really smart because he's got a hell of a thing going in Detroit. And he can just keep building up that resume, building up that experience, and that'll help him long term when he does take that head coaching job. Aaron Glenn, he's a defensive coordinator. I think that speaks for itself.
And Johnson, it might be more of a team picking thing where you have the worst teams looking for head coaches. He may be looking for a better team that's fed up with a head coach to take.
I get that. I understand that. I'm just fed up he's still here. I don't want him here anymore.
Yep. And where is it?
Oh yeah,
Rab, you are correct. When you beat the Sea Chickens, they were undefeated. So 2-2. We're the only teams in the league that have done that. So that should tell you something. This is a great division, top to bottom.
Yeah,
which is unusual.
It really is.
So, well, looking at the team stats, they're almost identical. Third down efficiency, 4 for 10 for both teams. Total plays, 56 for Detroit versus 52 for us on offense. Total yards, 391 to 383. Total drives, 11. Yards per play, 7.0 for Detroit, 7.4 for Minnesota. Passing, 247 for Detroit, 244 for Minnesota. Rushing, 144 for Detroit, 139. They're almost identical. It's crazy.
Like so little things, right, Dave? Like Grenard, was it Van Ginkel that got that last sack on Goff and strip sack, and then Decker or somebody, the bounce just went their way and they landed on it. That could have been another, scoop up and take it in for the touchdown, or at least you're inside like the 20-yard line. So little stuff like that, little bounces of luck in such a close game.
Yep.
It's
Bounce right back to Goff.
Yeah, that one too on Grenard. Yeah, so.
But hey, it is what it is. It was a great game. It was close. Everything the NFL had hoped for. Why they didn't flex it is unknown.
I can tell you exactly why. It's they didn't want to take Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers off of prime time.
Right.
And that's a lot of that's media market driven. Plus Aaron Rodgers has that name brand cachet of, hey, I want to see Aaron Rodgers because he's one of the best players to ever do it. And like, look, from a diehard football fan,
into the afternoon slot because you got Kansas City and San Francisco.
And I guarantee you Fox protected that game, so it could not be flexed.
Right.
So, but I will say that a lot of the country did see this game. If you ever want to know what games your market will get, Wednesday, 506sports.com tells you everywhere, like wherever you live in the continental United States, what games you will get and who the announcers are and what channel.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something to, remember moving forward. Dave, you got the game. You didn't have to watch on a stream. You got to watch on TV.
Yep,
and
it's wonderful.
It's a big, big thing to be able to watch the game on TV, because the way I have my house set up, I watch on a stream, and
all of Texas,
I'm like way behind everybody,
except for a little piece between about College Station-ish over to Arkansas that got the Giants-Phillies game. And why they got that one, I have no idea. But we got it, and I was happy.
College Station, Arkansas.
College Station is northeast of Austin.
No. I'm trying to think of what players might have gone to Texas A&M that were big in that game, and I can't think of one.
I have no idea why they had that one. But they did. Even Dallas switched, because Dallas originally was the NFC East game, and they switched to our game. But it is.
I will say this: O'Connell talked in his press conference. If they would have been called for a 5-yard penalty, Will Reichard was attempting a 68-yard kick.
Well,
which would have been an NFL record. Which, I'll be honest, would have been smart, because I think it would have had a better chance statistically of hitting a 68-yarder than they would have a Hail Mary.
Right. And
with Will Reichard kicking it, yes.
Which is wild, because when you watched him in college, he didn't have that kind of leg. Like, I talk to people who know how to scout kickers, because I'll be honest, I have no freaking clue. There's so many nuances that are different between the pro and college game. And what I was told is like, dude is just an average ass kicker, and you drafted like the third best kicker in this class, and the better two got drafted right after. But they saw something with how they could fix his mechanics to generate more power, and they've done a phenomenal job, because he hasn't missed a single kick yet. Hasn't missed a single kick.
And I was told they should have tried the 72-yarder from where they were. They would have given them a chance. Well, it would have been fun to watch.
Yeah, I guess I would have gotten on board with them trying to hit the 68-yarder, just because the way he kicked so far. I think at 73 yards,
or 73.
You're
Yeah.
throwing that Hail Mary, especially with the kind of arm that Sam Darnold has and the ball skills of many of the Vikings players. Like if Darnold gets this out, I'm pretty sure he can reach the end zone. And if Justin Jefferson is even close to that ball, there's a chance he catches that. Now, obviously, the Lions brought pressure. The Vikings didn't expect that and didn't hold up. So, yeah, there's that. But I think trying the Hail Mary was the right call.
100%. We got some questions about Ed Ingram, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to save my opinions on that for tomorrow because I want to watch it. Because we all saw him get blown up by Lee McNeil, who just got a 4-year, $97 million contract. So when you get blown up by a really, really good player, when you're an average guy, which I consider Ingram, like that's going to happen once in a while. But Pro Football Focus in 43 pass blocking reps. The final grades are already available for Vikings Lions, by the way, which is, I think, the fastest they've ever had. 43 pass blocking reps, 1 sack allowed, 1 total pressure.
For most of the day, Sam
I
had
didn't notice
plenty
him.
of time to throw. He had good pockets. He was sitting back there 3 and 4 or 5 seconds trying to have somebody come open, and they had good coverage.
I will say that the beat has been alluding to Dalton Reisner taking over for Ingram the last few days, which I'm going to be honest, I think is a stupid idea because it's going to crater the run game. Like, yeah, Ingram has too many warts in pass protection, but Reisner is awful in run blocking. So you're going to completely sacrifice the run game for a little bit of an improvement in pass blocking, which I don't think is worth it. But that's something to keep an eye on because if they're alluding to it, like it's one of two things. It's either real steam or they're just trying to generate buzz. And I don't think it's trying to generate buzz this time.
Actually, I mean, I disagree a bit because I don't think this would be a little bit of an improvement in pass protection. Like Dalton Reisner is generally a solid to good pass blocker, and Ed Ingram is one of the worst pass blockers in the league. And therefore, the improvement in pass blocking would be just as big as the downgrade, the probable downgrade in run blocking. And I think it's easier to scheme around that mishap in the running game than it is to scheme around bad pass protector. And therefore, I would actually like that if they make that change.
So I will counter with this, Jonas, because I don't know how much you've been following kind of how we've been talking about this whole Ingram thing the last couple of weeks. The Vikings are asking them to play at such an extraordinary difficulty level. Going into this week, the Vikings were 9th in pass block win rate, so sustaining blocks above 2.5 seconds. They're also the 4th highest in the league with the amount of time to pressure because they're asking Darnold to hold the ball for so long to let these deep route concepts generate. So even though Ingram has a higher pressure number, it's the amount of pressures that have actually been severely impactful, I believe, is lower than what that number is because they're asking these guys to sustain blocks for so long, which I think is one of the differences in how a lot of people have viewed Ed Ingram versus how I do, because they are asking them to do so much as an offensive line. And they're doing a relatively good job of it when you look at the metrics and when I'm watching the film. Like Darnold has some significantly clean pockets. He had quite a few of them today, obviously, without really any edge presence from the Lions. But I think that's one of the things. And we had Dalton Wasserman from PFF on last week, who is now one of their like front-facing public figures. But he was a grader for 3 years, and we had a really nice conversation about how not all pressures are created equal and how they kind of, like, when he has an atrocious play, it takes him down so significantly more than just allowing a pressure, which I think is one of the factors there too. So like I have less of a problem with Ingram than other people, but I completely understand and respect what you're saying. I just don't think it'll be enough of an improvement in the pass blocking to warrant taking that kind of downgrade in run blocking. But maybe I'm on an island there.
Thing is, Ingram right now in pass protection, in my opinion, is the only big weakness. Like, yes, there's also Garrett Bradbury, but I think Bradbury, if Bradbury is your biggest weakness, your offensive line is good. But if you add Ingram next to that, and Ingram, in my opinion, is again like there is a substantive downgrade from Bradbury to Ingram. I think Ingram is worse in pass protection than Bradbury, and if you add this together, I think there just is a way to attack the Vikings interior that I think isn't there if you get another competent pass blocker in there, and Dalton Risner provides just that. And again, I think scheming around weaknesses in the run game is just way easier than scheming around weaknesses in the passing game. And I think that's where I'm at. And that's why I would be okay if they change.
Jonas, you got a Gophers hoodie on there?
Yep.
Oh, trying to play into your audience. I like it.
I mean, thing is, I currently just don't have much. Like, I have some Vikings merch, obviously. I wanted to buy some in London, but the NFL shop there was atrocious, so I went home empty-handed. And
all they were selling was Rodgers jerseys.
There wasn't much to choose from, and the only thing I probably would have bought, which was in a way Jefferson jersey, was only there in 2XL and larger, which obviously isn't my size. So yeah, they had stuff of pretty much every team and not much of each. And since I also arrived relatively late in London because I arrived on game day, since I had a game the day earlier that I had to play at home, I didn't arrive earlier, which I usually would have. So maybe I would have gotten something there, but yeah, it wasn't good, the stuff they have there. But it usually isn't. So we'll see.
Oh, well, have you got a podcast this week in Germany?
I have to see. Not sure about that because I have to wrap up some stuff at work that will take some time, and also I have my own last game of the season coming up this week. I mean, the game doesn't have much meaning because our position is already clinched, so there isn't much to play for, but we still take it seriously, and I have to put some time into that. So
I'll go with it.
I'm not sure if I'll be able to do something this week, but we'll see.
Gotcha. Tyler, what have you got for tomorrow?
I don't know yet. I'm going to kind of let the L22 dictate that. We're going to talk about the Ed Ingram stuff, which we had a nice conversation with Jonas about just a couple minutes ago. We're going to talk about the Vikings' resiliency, and we're also going to talk about how those inbreakers are consistently getting to Brian Flores' defense, even with the changes, which I thought that there were enough changes from last year where it would mitigate some of those inbreakers and daggers that the Lions just gashed us with last year, but it wasn't. So we're going to talk about that, and it won't be a live show because we are taking the dogs to a dog trainer because they still don't like each other. So, but we'll have one at the normal time. That much I can promise you. Dave and I will have that ready to rock and roll. And yeah, it's just an unfortunate loss, but I think the Vikings proved something to themselves today. And I think that's going to be huge carrying forward.
If you would have said after 6 games we're 5-1 at the beginning of the season prior, everybody would have said, cool. Because now we go into our less difficult portion of the schedule. So we'll see how it goes. And Darren, you'll be here next Saturday to talk a breakdown of the Rams game.
Yeah, no game preview because it already have happened. So it's going to be tight turnaround on those notes and graphics there, Dave.
Yep,
I'm going to try to get stuff to you early.
But we'll have live at the 2-minute warning on Thursday night as normal because of the game. We have a real 4-0 show will be tomorrow night. We'll have Sal on Tuesday, real 4-0 on Wednesday, and then a game on Thursday. So, gentlemen, any last words there, Jonas?
I mean, I think the Vikings just were due today. The last few games were already getting closer, and I think this might have been the wake-up call at the right time. And Thursday night will be tough, especially with Cooper Kupp back. But after that, the Vikings have a good chance to establish themselves at the top of the playoff picture, and hopefully the Lions will drop some games too. So the Vikings can stay in that race. Obviously, this division is super tough right now. It is without a doubt the best division in football, and even though it's not super surprising, the surprising fact, if you look back to the start of the season, is that the Vikings are part of that. And so that's good. Let's hope TJ Hawkinson gets this offense to be a little bit more consistent, to give them kind of that other element to rely on if the downfield stuff isn't there. And if that works, the Vikings probably can continue to be about as successful as they have been so far. And that would be overachieving in a big way, considering what the expectations were ahead of the season.
Yep. Final words, Tyler?
The Vikings got through the toughest part of the schedule at 5-1. May not be the best ending to it with losing this game, but they proved a lot to themselves and to the rest of the nation, where they got down, they faced a lot of adversity, and they clawed their way back and they took the lead. They couldn't quite finish it off, but proving that is going to be big moving forward, because it's not just in-game adversity when you're up. They got down 2 scores. And they got down 2 scores in kind of an ugly fashion with that poor second quarter. And they fought back. And they made it a real game. And it's arguably game of the year so far in the NFL. Like, that's going to be huge for this team's prospects moving forward, because they proved a lot today. And look, now it's on to being 1-0 on Thursday night and taking on the Los Angeles Rams, who may be without still both Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, which would be huge for this Vikings team.
Mm-hmm. Final words, Darren?
I've already moved on to the Rams, and I suspect that the Vikings should as well. Like, I've been hearing that Stafford has been playing really well this year, but he hasn't had a whole lot to work with. So Kupp comes back, that gives them a little bit more to work with. Rams have been kind of sticky this year in all of their games, and so I expect it'll be a tougher battle than maybe we would like. But I'm expecting, and the Vikings need to get back on putting the wins in the bank account, because 5-1 looks great, but then you get 5-2, and then who knows? Doubt starts seeping in and that sort of thing. So keep the losing streaks, like I said earlier, to 1, and then.
Yep. GMAC said we hit one, including the preseason, 8 in a row, which is pretty damn good. I agree with you, GMAC. Until the next time, tomorrow, we will all see you, and thank you for joining us today. It's been a great crowd. And what do we say, gentlemen?
SKOL Vikings,
SKOL
baby.
Vikings.
SKOL Vikings. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.